In today's video, you're gonna learn how to make map animation used in documentary films. You might be thinking, where do I get my maps from? Or I can't think of any design or any idea, and that's totally normal. So here's how you'll do it. First, find some inspiration online. You can use Pinterest for that. Now, go to freesvgmaps.com, click on the map maker, and you can zoom in parts of the world map that you like. You can highlight the country and give it a color, and you can download the PNG image of that. I also use Textures Lab and PNG3 for the textures and some PNG clouds. Alright, before we head over to After Effects, if you've been enjoying my tutorials and want access to all my project files, templates and script, you can join me on Patreon. Members get everything I use in my videos, extra resources I don't post anywhere else, plus access to two of my courses. And if that sounds helpful, check the link in the description down below, and that's also the way you can support what I do. I would really appreciate that. Alright, now let's head over to After Effects and build the map animation. Let's go. Alright, I have all the assets imported inside the project panel. Let's go ahead and create a new composition and hit OK. And I'm gonna drag in the map first, and I can just scale it down a little bit like that to fit the comp size. And I'm gonna drag and drop the textures just above the map, and I can just scale it down a touch, and I can go and change this blending mode to multiply. Okay, and what I also would do is I'm going to add a sharpness to the texture. You can zoom in, and I can just increase this to around 30, so it's a little bit sharp. I will duplicate the texture, and I'm gonna set this blending mode to normal and rename this to grid, and I'm gonna apply a grid effect, and I'm gonna lower the border to 1. Okay, so you have a subtle lines here. You can also change this to black so that these are visible on the maps. Okay, so let's make all this a 3D layer, and once you are there, you can just create a camera. I'm using 35mm. Hit OK. I'm going to create a new null object and make this a 3D, and I can just rename this controller 1. Okay, and I'm going to parent the camera to the null object. So I'm going to show you the easiest and simplest way to animate cameras inside After Effects here. Okay, so once you are there, let's build the scene first. I'm gonna just type in Republic of India, and by the way, I'm using these stones crush. Make it large, center it to the composition, make this a 3D, and I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to move it up here, 22 kilometers, and I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to write a text, scale this down, move it here. Once you're there, I'll just go to tool views. This is not here. You can just, if you don't find a view, you can just stretch this UI, or you can just hover your mouse over the composition, hit tilde key, and you can just switch to views. And I'm going to select this Republic of India, and you can see this is the camera, and I'm going to go and push it towards the camera somewhere around here, and the camera will pass this text and focus on this area. Okay, so that's the idea. All right, so let's go back to the one view and hit the tilde key and go back to the single view, go and fit the comp, and we're going to animate the camera. So I'm going to move this on top of everything so that it's clean. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the camera. If you hit C, you can see the camera tools change. If you hit C multiple times, you'll see different cursors appear. So I'm going to use this one. This is the dolly in, and I'm just going to dolly in like this. All right. So what I'm going to do is hit P, Shift and A, and set a keyframe on the camera. Move forward, maybe somewhere around here. And I'm going to dolly in here. I can also turn on the title action save so that you can frame this to the center here. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm just zooming in straight right now. If you find this video helpful so far, be sure to hit the subscribe button. And if you want to master After Effects and land high-paying clients, sign up for my new After Effects course. I'll be releasing it very soon. I will also select this controller. I'm going to hit R to bring up the rotation, and I'm going to animate the X rotation of this. Okay, set a keyframe for the X rotation and go to this keyframe, and I'm going to rotate it down, something like this. And I'm going to select the camera, and I'm gonna even dolly in here, and I'm gonna hit C again and find this tool which will move the camera around like this. And I'm trying to center this one at the center of the composition using the title action save. Okay, so that is really very important here, because your focus, your audience has to focus on a specific areas of the map. Okay, so that's how I like to do. And right now, if you see, you have a very cool animation where we have created this very easily. And one more thing I would like to do is you can see that when it reach this keyframe, it stops. That's not what I want. I want the camera to continuously spin around this section of the map. Okay, so to do that, we're gonna create a new null object. I'm gonna rename this controller 2 and make this a 3D layer. And you can see that the null object is somewhere here. We're gonna move this and center it to the section of the map where we want to focus, or yeah, we want this to focus, right? So let's go back to the first frame. If you parent this controller 1 to controller 2, and if you hit R, and if you rotate the Z axis, you can see it revolves around that center. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start animating it from here so that we have a smooth animation. Okay, so we're going to go till the last, right? So I'm gonna rotate this to, I don't know, this side, something like that. Okay, as you can see that I think the rotation is a little too much. Say a negative 20. I just need a subtle movement. Negative say 15. Maybe I'm going to start this from here. So you can always adjust this. Okay, that's really nice now. Right now, we just have linear keyframes. That is why it is not smooth enough. So I'm going to select all of these keyframes. I'm going to hit F9 for easy ease. You don't have to go to the graph for this. I think this is very good enough for this kind of example. So I'm going to play it. All right, you can see that that's really very nice. I need to extend this keyframe to the last so that we still have the maps spinning around that section of the map. All right, I think we're done with the camera animation. Now that we have the camera animation in place, we need to fix some more thing which will enhance the look and feel of the entire animation that we're building. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this grid. I'm going to hit Control D to duplicate it, and I'm going to place this grid at the position of the main heading of the scene, which is the Republic of India. So I'm going to copy the position of this text, and I'm going to paste it on the grid 2. All right, so if you play it now, you can see, you can just turn off the grid number 1 so that you can see it. You can see that it's there. I can just go to the effects and controls, and I'm going to increase it to 2 so that we can see what's going on. Or you can turn off the title action save so that you can see things around here. You can see you have some parallaxing effect here. You can increase that. Oops, not that, man. I just need to select the grid number 2, hit 5. You can see that's really cool, and I'll add some variation so that we don't have the exact same grid. So I'm going to increase these gaps, something like like this. And I'm going to lower this to, I don't know, 3. And just fit this and see. You have some parallaxing going on there. You can just turn on the previous one. You can see that. You have some parallax effect, right? So that creates a depth. So I really like that. All right, so let's work on the main focus of this entire animation, which is the chicken's neck or the Siliguri corridor. And let's just move this. Oops. Let's just select this too. And hit P, X, Y. We're going to move it Y. And we're going to rotate it this way, right? Or you could, lower down the text size if you want. And I'm going to focus it here. To do that, let's duplicate the map. And I'm going to grab a pen tool. And I'm going to draw a selection, mask. It does not need to be perfect. All right, so that's my selection. And I'm going to add a fill to this. So you can see the selection is here. And I can hit F to feather it. And, just feather it a touch. And what I will do is hit T and animate the opacity from 0. So when the camera comes down, and from here, I'm going to set the opacity to 0 to, I don't know, 100 to, I don't know, maybe 30 to 80 to 100. Something like that. All right, that's really cool. I think we just need to fix these text. These are very big. I'm going to scale it down and move it up and put it just somewhere around here. And I'm going to scale this down even more. And you can just put it here, somewhere here. And you can also add some animation to the text, but I'm just going to leave this for now. I will also add some clouds to add some depth. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag and drop these 2 clouds. Drag and drop it here and make this at 3D right away. And change the blending mode to screen. And let's go to 2 views again, so that you can see where are the clouds. So here it is. I want this to have some parallaxing effect. So I will not keep both of these at the exact same position. So I will just, scale it down a touch to both of this. And just going to position this outwards somewhere around, maybe backwards, somewhere around here. And the second one is going to fit in somewhere here. And I'm going to right click, transform, and flip horizontal. I want this better, right? So I'm going to move it towards the camera a little bit for the depth. And I'm going to select the other one. And I think I'm going to move this down, up somewhere around here. So that is what I want. I think I will just scale it down a touch. And let's just scrub to the timeline and let's see the animation. That's really nice. Let's turn on the motion blur for every layers and for the composition, right? Once you turn on the motion blur, just go to the camera and go to the camera options and turn on the depth of field on here. You can right away see that you have some depth. So the aperture is just 17. I want a very shallow depth of field, so we need to increase the aperture to, I don't know, maybe 100. You can just, adjust the focus distance. I've already discussed about this focus distance on my previous tutorial. Just go and watch it if you want. And maybe I think that is very cool here. And I think we need to add some keyframes on the focus distance here. And let's just go back to the first frame. So this is blurred out. So I'm gonna set this to focus on the text here. If you want to learn more cinematic documentary editing style, you can watch my previous video here. This is Motion Designer, and I will see you in my next video. Take care.